Everyone enjoys getting out on the town for some live music. And there's nothing like going backstage and down the hall for a VIP pass to the inside information and interviews with the bands, singers, and songwriters that you enjoy. Welcome to Hall Around Town Radio's Backstage Hall Pass, a showcase of homegrown talent, mixing independent music with personal interviews and a behind-the-scenes look at our music community. Backstage Hall Pass is your front row center seat to some great conversation with the area's most talented artists. Whether you like rock, blues, folk, country, or R&B, Backstage Hall Pass delivers you a daily dose of the stories behind the music. And now, here's the host of our show, Scott Hall.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome on a Wednesday. It's Wednesday with the band here at Hall Around Town Radio. We're going to get right to it today. We've got somebody that's been with us on the show for a long time, and he's going to jump in there with a big announcement today. We're going to talk about that, and also a little history. If you don't know him, you're going to get a chance to know him right about now. This is Mr. Heath Bowling. How you doing, Heath?
Good, brother. How are you doing, man?
Good to have you on the show. It's been a while, man, and I'm glad to have you here. You've been up to some good stuff, and we're going to chat about that today. But I want to know, first of all, what's this hat you're wearing?
It's just a Strictly match. I couldn't tell you how many people ask me if I'm a Twins fan or a Brewers fan. I'm a diehard Red Sox fan, but unfortunately, when I went to the store to buy a couple for just gigs, they didn't have a Red Sox black and white one, so I was stuck with, I like the logo of the Twins because it's got the red C in it. Always thought it was a cool logo, and then I always liked the Brewers logo because it had the baseball glove and ball on it. That's the only reason I wear them is because they're black and white, and they match, because I'm a chubby guy, my black shirt.
You can see me. I'm wearing the black shirt, too, for the chubby guys. But
we're the reason they got tools called Husky, brother.
That's right. That has nothing to do with what we want to talk about today, but just I just always wondered that when I see you wearing that hat, so I thought I'd throw it in there. So let's say hi to some people. Steve Stein from the Times joining us out there. Butch Snyder, how you doing, Butch? Thank you for dropping in. Billy Sutherland from White Knuckle Weekend in the house. The Seven West, how you doing, Seven? Yeah, he's pretty, ain't he? All right, Glenn checking in on the YouTube channel. Thank you, Glenn. The Wanderers out there. Josh Morgan, tell Eliza I said hi. If she says hi, love little Eliza. And yes, and he's saying hi to both of us now. Rooster Fries from Hamilton in the house. Rooster Radio, thank you guys for dropping by today. So we're going to talk with Heath Bowling a little bit, let you guys have a chance to get to know him a little bit. Hi, Banks. How are you, buddy? Good to see you on time. All right. We're going to talk to Mr. Heath Bowling. I've known Heath for quite a while since we started this stuff back here. I don't even know where we first crossed paths, but he's been doing it and grinding every single week, even through the pandemic and everything else. He was working hard at music. Heath, tell everybody a little bit about your history, how you got started playing music and why you decided to even play out in front of people.
Well, the reason I started playing music, playing guitar, is probably most stories like all the rest of the guys that are great guitarists. I was over at a buddy's house when I was about 14 years old, and I heard him do Nutshell, and he had like 7 girls around him in a circle listening to every word he said, and I said, damn, I want to do that. And so I asked my mom on my 15th birthday if she'd buy me a guitar, and luckily she did. She bought me a knockoff Telecaster. I think it was a Squire or something like that. And from then on out, man, it was doing the most I could to annoy her with playing the loudest covers of anything off Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, or the first Black Sabbath album, or Master of Puppets, stuff like that. And then she introduced me to the Beatles, and she was happier with my guitar playing when I got introduced to the Beatles. And after that, man, that's just as far as the history of playing music. I've always loved music, all kinds of music, from James Brown, to ZZ Top. But I started playing out. I honestly was had a good friend. His name was Eric, and Eric French. You might know who he is.
I know Eric.
You know him. He's a biker-looking dude. He used to hang out a lot of JD Legends. But he was a buddy of mine. We worked together, and he had old guitars at his house, so I play guitar, I was sitting around obviously boozing and having a good time. And he said, man, there's this contest up at JD Legends called Get the Gig. And he's like, man, I've watched a couple of them. He goes, he's like, Heath, 3/4 these guys, you're better than, which I didn't give a shit about that, but Eric did. But and that's actually where I met you. I met you at the whatever Get the Gig that was. I think it was the second one maybe, or the third one for the solo acoustic guys. I met a lot of good friends there, and like James Mathis and Tessa, Thomas Beverly, who don't play much out, but God, he's so damn good. Thomas Friel, who we all know is in Nashville now, working his butt off with Tori Faith at Ripley's and places like that. But yeah, I did Get the Gig, and it was good. When I first started out, I didn't get much love from the North. It was like I could not, I guess, get out of Hamilton. I think that's Hamilton, maybe Butler County. I couldn't get out of that. I could only play gigs like down in Hamilton, places like Misery and Jen's and the Fairfield Pub and Legends, not JD Legends down there. Places like the Dewdrop Inn, all these little small places that no one's, heard of unless they're from that area or, or acoustic guys that play South. And then I finally, slowly made my way up here. I think the first person who gave me a chance in Northern Territory, meaning, starting in Montgomery County or Warren County, was I think either Heather or it could have been Dawn, maybe. But one of those two, Dawn or Heather, they first gave me my gig in Springboro. And then obviously, when you play in Springboro and you can, carry your weight in their eyes of what good music is and what good, musicianship is or performance, you pretty much, the dominoes just fall when you're in Springboro because it's a close, tight-knit community. So, you play at the Barrel, then you're going to end up playing Heather's. You're going to play Mr. Burroughs. Now we've got Heroes. So,
right.
And then it started falling like I was Miami's.
It's a bit of a music mecca there within a few miles of each other. There's a lot of places when you count, Burroughs, and you count Crooked Handle, and you count Heroes and the Barrel and Heather's.
Right.
And, within a stone's throw, there's a lot of places for people to play and see live local music, which is cool. In itself. But how did you really, I want to ask you, man, because I remember you doing the Get the Gig with us. How'd you get the guts to get up there in front of people and decide, I'm not just going to sit on a bench in my buddy's garage and play music? How'd you ever decide to do that? Was it intimidating?
The first time I did it, man, I've always been I guess those people that if I throw something in the hat, I'm throwing all of it in the hat. And that's what, I told the guys that I'm working with now, if I commit to something, I'm throwing it all in the hat, and it's all or nothing. And, and then like Get the Gig was the same way, hell yeah, I was nervous as hell. I'd never done that. And especially, the first two weren't that bad because you were inviting your family and friends. And, the second one I did, the second round, there was 44 people there, and I think 38 were mine. So, that was very comfortable. But then when we got to, playing outside for the final, and there was people out at the tiki bar and under the canopy and in the sand, and you're like, oh,
yeah, people that are unfamiliar with you.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And, and you're a guy that, 3 rounds you've played out. It's not like I was, Jamie Combs or Doug Hart that had been playing thousands upon thousands of gigs and joining contests. I was fresh. I was fresh, very wet behind the ears. I did not know what I was doing. All I knew was I'll pick this damn thing up and I'll play 4 chords at songs that I know that I'm not going to fub up the words or the chords to just get through this. And, I didn't win, but that was completely fine because it was a great
People
experience.
loved you, man.
Yeah. It was a great experience.
You built some confidence.
Here's the way I look at it is I did not win that, but you know who I got beat by? I got beat by Tessa, who is a way better damn singer than I am. I got beat by Thomas Beverly, who is a way damn better singer than I am. And then James Mathis won it all because James Mathis was so awesome. He was mixing Waylon Jennings with Ice Cube, and he was mixing Dr. Dre with Metallica. He was just
I remember that
stuff to how could you not let that dude win? But
James is great.
I always hold it over Thomas's head when I see him though, because he got 5th and I got 4th. So I did beat Thomas for
There you go. Well, you mentioned Tessa. Now you've gone under the handle of Heath Bowling Music for a long time, but you also put together this collaboration with the lovely Tessa Marie, and you threw this out there. It's called Beauty and the Beast, and It's an interesting work of art you guys have there, because it's something totally different than your regular solo stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, with the whole Beauty and the Beast thing, the solo thing is like pretty much songs that I like, and popular. At least three-quarters of the set's popular, so people know what it is. And then I have my selfish quarter of my set that's 5 or 6 songs out of 30 that I want to play, and you might not know them, and that's okay. But you'll struggle with me 3.5 minutes, like I'll struggle with me trying to do it, and outside of that, the Beauty and the Beast thing is it's strictly more driven country. As far as like the good, not saying all country is good or bad. I'm just saying like 90s country, where there were a lot of duets like the Trisha Yearwood and Don Henley's, collaborating together. And then also on the rock side, we had Stevie Nicks and Tom Petty collabing together. And, with 2023 coming up, it's not like last year, it's not going to be a lot of driven 90s country. It's going to be, we're mixing in a little, actually, like a band called Skillet, who's kind of half rock, half metal. We're mixing in Stevie and Tom, and then also a lot of classic country like Loretta and Conway and George and Tammy. And we just think it's a good time to add those additions in there, because obviously, with TV shows and stuff like the new George and Tammy series just came out. So when we do songs like that, people will relate because they've watched the show. They might not be George Jones and Tammy Wynette fans, but they watched the show, so they'll relate to that. So we feel, we both had a really rough year, with me obviously being busy, and Tessa just had a rough year with a lot of stuff going on. So we kind of, sat back a little bit last year and didn't go as hard as we did the first year. And I think it's going to be it's going to be an awesome 2023 for Beauty and the Beast. We're going to try to at least do 2 shows a month, at the minimum 2 shows.
Good deal. Well, it's a fun project, and love Tessa to death. She's a wonderful person and a great singer, and that's good. And I'm glad to see you guys are continuing that and moving that forward. Question from Butch here, and I've got to say hi to a couple people. Let me first of all say hey to Hollywood from Pullman Lanes. Thank you for being here. Hi, Rick. Thanks for being on the show. John Barry, thanks for that nice comment. Hopefully everybody stays safe in the weather over the weekend. And Dirk Turner from Crying Out Loud. Carrie, thank you for being here as well. So Heath, he's asking what music really gets you off the most. What do you really like playing, man?
Well, honestly, as far as playing, I like playing the the 90s rock, like DeMoss and Benny do. We pretty much play pretty much, I'd say, the same artists, just different songs by those artists. But 90s alternative is pretty much my love, and then also the classic country. But like I learned the first year, you can't get away with playing those a lot in the bar, because classic country I love is sad, like Merle and Hank Sr. and Waylon, stuff like that. Now you can get away with playing the outlaw. So as far as playing to get me off, classic, outlaw, country, and 90s alternative. And as far as what I listen to, as far as what gets me off, I'm more Megadeth, Seven Dust, you name it, Chevelle, which they are pretty much 2000s rock. So a decade later is pretty much what I really love to listen to as far as when I'm jamming to Spotify. And if you're a local guy and you've got an album, I've got a playlist of local guys I like to listen to. Like when Jamie did an album, obviously we know Shane and Rob did an album. And yeah, that's what I like to do as far as playing and listening.
Yeah, have you listened to Benny's album?
Oh, I love Benny's album. I really
it's great.
I don't know how they weren't bigger than what they were. But I mean,
yeah.
Benny's a guy too, that a lot of people are just seeing him pop up now playing. I mean, that cat's been in the local music scene for 30 years playing rock and roll original music, not covers. They might have done maybe one a show. But I mean, he had a lot of success. I don't know if you're familiar with his first band. It was called Warminster, I think. Not his first band, probably, but his first band that I think made it big, if I recall by conversations that we've had over the last couple of years. But they had a lot of success, and then
they played for me at the Bus Stop, it was called. Really? Way back when. So they were in a huge way a big band back then.
And there's a funny thing too, is he's opened for a lot of bands. I think he's opened for Tesla and like Slaughter when they were in their big heydays. I mean, he's opened for some pretty prestigious big bands from the past.
Right. Dude, I got to ask you a question. Did you not pay the electric bill?
No, I did. You need a light. Is it dark?
It's awfully dark. Yeah, you're as it starts to get dark outside, you're getting darker by the minute. It's like you're in a dungeon.
There we go.
Oh, there we are. Now
Sorry.
we get to see what Heath looks like.
Sorry,
All right. There we go. So let's move on to this big announcement, because that's what we're really here to talk about today. And I picked up on it. I had some little hints that this might be happening, but Route 88 made a big announcement today that you have joined the band as their lead singer. And I can't be any happier to hear that. Jeff Edwards was a great guy. We all did a lot of things with him. You did a lot of things with him. And Jeff has moved to Nashville, and he's no longer with Route 88 locally here. And man, am I glad to hear you're going to be collaborating with those guys now and being in their band.
Man, we about, I don't know, it was about 4 or 5 months ago, we had discussed, because I had talked to Jeff, and I had messaged Jeff and said, you think I'd be a good fit for them guys? He's like, man, he's like, go try. And, that was like I said, about October, I think, maybe. So it wasn't that long ago. So maybe October. It was like right before Jeff left, and they had a post up looking for a singer. And I talked to Jeff briefly about it, jumped back and forth with Rob, and I was like, man, I'm just so damn busy. Thank you, Kara. I appreciate that, honey. PPW for life. But
PWW.
Yeah. Oh, PWW. That's right.
Yes.
But I talked to him a little bit about it. And I was just like, man, I was like, I'm just so busy. And I think at the end of this year, man, I've played 161 shows, and I've played 50, and I think I've done hosted 52 open mics or something like that. It's stupid. And so I just didn't really have the time. And then I changed my whole game plan in 2023, of slowing down, as many solo shows and concentrate on being the beast. Well, then for unknown reasons, the guy that replaced Jeff initially was a guy named Wade, I believe, and I don't know if things just didn't work out or something like that. I don't know the gist of that. I don't like to, I just, whatever. I don't know. All I know is it didn't work out. And so Rob reached back out to me, and was like, hey, man, you want to try to do this? And I was like, yeah, sure. Let's get together. And so we met over, which was really cool. They got a practice spot. So it's so cool too. So they got a practice spot. We meet every week, on Tuesdays. And first time I met the cats, I knew Rob. I did not know Walt. I did not know Kevin. I mean, I knew they were, musicians for a long time. Hey, what's up, Billy? And I went over there, and we obviously sat down and talked for a little bit, and they just started firing out songs, man. And I don't know if it was like a test me or what do I know? So I think we jammed to some Kiss songs, we jammed to some Sabbath, a little bit of Aerosmith, Beatles, Gin Blossom, stuff like that. And ever since then, man, it's been great.
I've got to say, that, if people haven't been exposed to Route 88, even before you started with them, I will say, there are some killer players in that band, and Rob Jeremy is one of the best guitar players around. And it's one of those things that he's just a quiet dude. He doesn't get a lot of fanfare out there, but he should, because he's solid as a rock, man. And he can play anything.
Listen, I could not ask for anything better to take my chances in being a front man for a band than the three dudes that asked me to be part of their band, because those guys are well-oiled machines. And I'm talking like shoot a song out. Robbie G is got the chord structure already. Walt looks over at him, bam, and Kevin's just like, just tell me what you want me to do. And Kevin just does it, and they're just, like I said, they're just a damn tight-knit unit, man. They really are. And I'm excited because, they write their own music, which I write a lot of my own music, but as we know, bars don't want to hear originals. So it's going to be really nice to collaborate with him and Walt on writing some tunes. And, one thing I've always struggled with, because obviously starting as a country guy, most of the songs I write are like 4-chord bangers. And with these guys, it doesn't have to be a 4-chord banger. You know what I mean? It can be a whole drawn out. And it's so nice to have somebody play a solo instead of just running through those stupid chords that people are like, why isn't he playing the lead? Well, I can't, because if I stop, I'm just going to be going bing, 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 and you're not going to hear the chords strumming in the background. Because I'm a firm believer in not using a looper. I like all natural. I feel like loopers are, I don't know. I guess if I wanted to see karaoke, I'd go to my favorite place at the Soft Rock over there.
Yikes. So. That's a whole nother show, man.
Yeah.
That is. We could do a show on loopers or no loopers. That's for sure. Yeah.
But I mean, there's people like Dave Thornton. I'll give props to Dave Thornton. Dave Thornton is amazing with it.
Phenomenal.
But there's also guys that sit there and play for a minute and a half and don't say a damn word while the crowd's going, what the hell's going on? Then they click their stupid pedal and then they start letting it play. And then some guys stop playing because it's already looped and just hold their guitar and sing. And it's like, that's karaoke to me.
Well, David Thornton's mastered it. I mean, he's got it. He doesn't overplay it either. And that's the thing. I don't mind it as long as you don't overplay it. But a lot of people overplay those things. And they rely on that. And a harmonizer. When you walk into a bar and you see a guy sitting on stage and you haven't quite looked up there yet. And there's, oh man, that's a great band. Let me hear those vocalists, and there's one guy and you're like, oh, it's a harmonizer. There it is. Right. Oh, but well, let's get to
what do you know about that, Jason Roy?
Where is he? Where is he? Is he on here?
I know he uses one. I don't know if he's on.
Yeah. He'll be firing back at you, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. We got to talk. We got a few more minutes left. I want to know though, do you have to change your whole mindset now as a front man? Because I watched a video of you singing with Route 88 and somebody made a comment about the guy that doesn't know what to do with his hands right now. And that would be, to me, that would freak me out. If I was used to playing and singing with a guitar in my hand all the time, to just be up there with a microphone, man, I mean, that's out of the comfort zone for me. So what do you think about it?
It's definitely different. I'm definitely gonna have to figure out how to do it because I definitely don't have naked karate girl moves, so I'm not gonna be able to sit up there.
Thank God.
I was thinking maybe I could just wear goofy outfits where people would pay attention to me just standing like a rock. But no, I don't know. It's something I got to work on. I mean, and obviously, like I said, that was our first live performance that you've seen on the videos. I mean, that was 2 practices and 1 live show. So, I mean,
right.
I took it as when I seen the videos, there were spots that I was spotty and there's, it is what it is. It's a learning curve. And the thing that's great about it is I can do my solo thing and play with what is running.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have the beautiful physique that you do, G-Off.
Yes.
I can't do what do they call that, the cheerleader kick. I don't know. They spread their legs out all the way out. You know how David Lee Roth used to jump off the drum riser?
Tristan Bones got that down in Arena Rock Show. He's got that one down. But yeah.
That kid stupid good too. So,
but as you call him, G-Off, who's on here now, used to have that patented hair flip. He had that hair flip down. You and I aren't going to do that, Heath.
Not at all.
No. Well, yeah, don't take the hat off, man.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I want everybody to see the solar panel. But no, it's just a good thing, man, because the solo thing I can do whatever I want, that I've been doing, the normal stuff, and the people that I've gained as, friends. I don't like to call them fans or followers because they're more than that, because I do more with most of the people that come to my shows. I do with stuff outside of a show. He can just stroke his feet. You got it, dog.
Gotta love it.
But, you can do that. And then like the Beauty and the Beast thing's really cool because then, me and Tessa feed off each other real well. And that's always fun. And then now with the whole band thing is, it's going to be nice not to have to go out there and, these shoulders are what hold up my night every night. If I have a bad night where I'm just not sounding good singing or my guitar, my effects or whatever, or my board's I can't get my board figured out because I am probably the worst sound guy ever, which is another plus because Rob is great at sound. So, I don't have nobody to rely on when you do a solo, just like all these other guys are out there. Benny's the same way, Shane. And when you're by yourself, you're by yourself. And
right.
If you have a bad night, you have a bad night. You just got to suck it up. I mean, I know a lot of us guys that play solo because I talk with these cats on the regular through text calls, everything face to face. There are so many times that us solo guys will play to 4 people and have a terrible night and get in our cars and be like, man, do I really want to do this? Should I be doing this? Because it was terrible, to where in a band bad night, say, let's buy a bucket of beer and let's just drink it away. And, we'll get in the practice on Tuesday after a Saturday game. We'll figure it out. You know what I mean? So,
well, there's a lot of broken guitars and trash cans out on Broadway in Nashville for a reason. I mean, people give it up. You know, it's
Right.
a tough business and the crowds are tough. The critical crowd sometimes can be really tough when they're maybe not into what you're playing, which brings me to my next question. You've followed our show. I know you've been on commented the last few weeks. How do you put together a set list, man? What do you determine to do your set list, especially your solo gigs? That's what I want to talk about.
Well, before I answer this, that Firecracker Blonde ain't in here in the comments, is she?
She just got in the comments right here. How about that?
God.
She's gonna tear you up.
Speak of the devil. Well, okay, as far as
yes.
set list. Okay, so set list, like I was saying in the comments when you guys were having your show, which were great shows, it was nice to see all different musicians talking about it and what they do and what not they do. But as far as the set list, when I go in there, you just gotta like you guys were talking, you gotta know your crowd and your venue. You know, so like when I go to Milano's tonight, I'm strictly gonna stay in rock because Milano's is a rock bar and a rock restaurant. They want rock. They don't want to hear a lot of country. Okay. If they did, they wouldn't book a month full of rock guys. You know, four times a month someone plays there and they're predominantly more rock than anything.
Right.
You know, and then you can go down south to where you go to Misery and Jen's, and they want to hear in Fairfield Pub, they want to hear the saddest classic country you can play. Okay. I mean, there's my buddy Norm and Ron that are there all the time. I met them when I first started playing Fairfield Pub 4 years ago. And maybe 3. But anyways, I make Norm cry 5-6 times at that bar, a Fairfield Pub gig. And I'm known to put kids to sleep. You have pictures of it and proof.
that was classic.
If your kid just got done with school or just got done with practice, bring them to my show 2 years ago, and I would put them to sleep for you.
Well, you were into the sad country tunes. You were. And I mean, we joked about that a lot with you. And and there's a place for it. There is, like you said, there's a lot of venues they want the tear in the beer, my girlfriend left me, all that stuff. And there's other places that, like that Firecracker Blonde you just mentioned, who, if you come in and play tear in your beer songs, she'll beat your ass. I mean, she will,
Yeah, you never do that. You never do that in an establishment like that. Just like, the barrel's kind of the same way. The barrel is like, you have to play like 90s alternative rock you can get away with, and you got to play more up-to-date country. Because if you play that older country, unless it's an older crowd at the barrel, they're not going to know that shit. Oh, crap. Sorry. So, and then there's other, there's other establishments, like Heather's and like Legends down in Hamilton, where you can play, a great mix of everything from 60s to 70s to country to, all that. But like I said, I'm a firm believer that my set, it doesn't matter what set, switching it all up. The first 4 songs are going to be 4 different genres. Bottom line, it's going to be 4 different genres. So we could go from starting out with Travis Tritt's Trouble, going into 3 Doors Down's Away from the Sun, to Ain't No Sunshine When She's Gone, to Pearl Jam, any Pearl Jam songs. I play so many of that damn band. But for those 4 right off the rip, and whatever 2 or 1 connects with that audience that's there at that said given time, I've already got a set made on my set list on the iPad to where I'm going.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So that way, I see so many artists that go out there, and they're predominantly country. And, like Six String Hustle is a great example. They're predominantly country, but Seven and Jason have the ability to where if they go into a place where the 90s country ain't working, they can go to Seeger and other stuff because of Jason's background in rock music. Also, Seven's background, he might not know how to play it on guitar, but they could go to Def Leppard and Seven could sing every word. They could go to Poison and Seven could sing every word because his parents raised him right and on that music, just like, and once again, another kid that's like, I'm old enough to be his dad, just like Tessa. I'm old enough to be her dad. But they were raised right to where they're a good enough musician to where they don't have to stay in their, predominant genre. And Brian Scott's another good one too, man. Everybody looks at Brian Scott and says Marilyn Manson and, death metal because he's Saints Among Us.
Not at all.
Go see a solo show if that's your opinion, because that dude will burn you down in bluegrass, country, even like Every Time I Look at You by Kiss, those soft rock ballads, you'd think
Oh
this
yeah.
dude would scream at you, but man,
No, he's a phenomenal singer as well. So let's end it up here today with first of all, Route 88. You guys are going to be out there and about. People can follow Route 88 on the Book of Face. It is at Route 88 Rocks. If you look it up that way, you'll be able to find them and like their page. Heath Bowling going to be the new front man for Route 88. What's the future hold there? Some writing too, maybe some cool stuff. I noticed they posted that today.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. Like, I know I'm pretty sure it was Rob and Walt that wrote the majority of the music. Could be wrong if Jeff's on here. He knows the background. Jeff might tell you a different story, but you know, they've wrote some. I can't remember if it's 5 or 6 originals so far. They've only sent me 2 so far that we actually did live at the Courtyard Lounge on Saturday, and yeah, I mean, I like them. And then also, you know, there's other songs that I've wrote that I've pitched at them, and you know, they're excited about that, to where, you know, we can iron out the music in, and you know, it's nice having 3 minds doing lyrics instead of just one. You know what I mean? Now, if it's a if it's a personal song, you know, like something like "Hurt" by Trent Reznor, you know, that we all know Johnny Cash made big with his scary voice, but you know, songs that are personal like that, you got to keep to yourself, which you wouldn't, you know, obviously I wouldn't say, "Hey, Rob, Walt, Kevin, I got this song," because, you know, that's a personal song, or you want to keep it acoustic solo, to where, you know, the other stuff that, you know, is not so personal to you, that you might have just, you know, been driving down the road and seen something and 2 sentences came to your mind. That's all you got. So you pull out your iPhone and you open your notepad and you put them 2 sentences in. And then 4 or 5 days, you know, 30, 45 minutes later, you're sitting down with them 2 sentences, trying to figure it out. And if it doesn't work out, then you take those 2 sentences with the other 2 sentences that didn't work and the other 2 sentences and smack them all up on the wall. And the next thing you know, all these 17, 18, 2-sentence little words turn into one whole song. You know what I mean? So,
oh, I got you, man.
It's going to be nice to.
It's going to be fun.
More than one mind. Yeah, more than one mind.
Well, I look so forward to seeing you play with Route 88. You're playing tonight at Milano's in Miamisburg, Miami Township, from 7 to 10. If anybody wants to go see Heath tonight, you can do that there. A little pre-Christmas cheer going on in there. But my final question, I ask everybody this question, all the artists, you've probably heard it before, but if you could take the stage with any artist, past or present, who would you want to play with?
Just one?
Just one.
Not a jam band?
No, you know, no.
Present, living or dead? Or did it
past or present, either one, man.
Oh, okay. Man, probably... hell with it. Probably Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan. There you have it. Bob Dylan.
Just for songwriting purposes, definitely not for his singing. So yeah,
I'd agree with that. But yeah, you wrote some great songs.
And in a really close second, which I've kind of punching myself in my head, I probably would have said George Harrison, because I think George.
Well, I know you're a big Beatles fan. You are.
Yeah. And, well, you know, I was thinking about that the other day, and people said, "You're a Beatles fan." I am a Beatles fan, but I'm more of a John George fan. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I could really live without, maybe besides 2 songs that Ringo did with the Beatles, and Paul just I don't know, it was too, you know, dancey for me, you know, like Martha My Dear and all that crap. You just too dancey. I like he
was the pop guy.
Yeah.
The other 2 guys were the rockers.
He was the one that got the songs on the charts so they could keep going.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, Paul was a master at his business sense, I think.
I would really love. Oh, that's awesome, Karis, because he is the greatest. I agree, greatest songwriter ever.
There is your endorsement right there. If the fanatical, crazy ass blonde says that you are okay with Bob Dylan, you're good.
I lit the fuse on the firecracker. See, there we go.
Gotta love her.
Yeah,
and
she's awesome.
By the way, Karis, while you're on here, thank you so much for being my co-host. You have improved the looks of my show significantly. And also the numbers. Yesterday's numbers were through the roof. So thank you for that. We appreciate it. And Heath, anything else you want to leave the followers with out there? I hate the word fans too. So
no, just you know, if you want to, see what it's going to be like with Route 88 being completely different, because obviously I'm a completely different person than Jeff, and I'm a completely different person than Wade that filled in between us two. Come out and enjoy it. But I mean, like I said, the name's Route 88 for a reason, because we go all the way down everywhere on the musical highway. And, come check me out solo if you want to see the different aspect side of me. And outside of that, just go and support local music. Like tonight he says I'm great with his funny post that he just likes to post on Facebook, Mr. DeMoss. But me and Mr. DeMoss will be playing, about 3 miles from each other. So if you want to come out and see us scream at you for, half a show and half a show, we're not far away.
No, it's close.
There's my buddy Walt right there. There's our killer bass player right there.
Thanks for being here, Walt. We appreciate you guys. Route 88, follow them on Facebook at Route 88 Rocks. Go give them a like. See where they're going to be playing. Go out and check out a show with their new frontman, Heath Bowling here. Heath, can't thank you enough for being with me today, man. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much.
Great to have you here. We're going to leave you all with a little Benny Bodine music next to nowhere as we go out today. All right. So thanks for watching, everybody.
When it's over and I goodbyes today, when there's nothing left to say, and I can't ignore the voices in my head, reminding me of all the things I said. Used to be a time when I faced anything. Maybe I'm just not that strong anymore. Tell me something to help me breathe again. All for nothing, and far from where I've been. And I can't